Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ma'am Anna, and for today's lesson, we were going to discuss about the innovative and the responsibilities of a social studies teacher. So, what is innovative? Being innovative requires a new way of looking problems and solving them. Innovation improves education because it compels students to use a higher level of thought to solve problems. Innovative is creating a new methods or new techniques on how we will give solution to a problem. So, in teaching, teachers are inventive and creative, whereas they continue to discover and devise new methods and content to ensure that their students have the best learning experiences. That's why we use technologies to easily understand our discussion. So, our students has challenges such as lack of understanding, loss of focus, or low engagement and demotivation. That's why our teacher is striving hard to find a new ways to keep their student on task, motivate their student to do their best, and also to keep their students on succeed. Teachers has a very long patience because teaching is their passion. So, paano ba natin masasabi ang isang guro ay innovative? So, my group mates will discuss it. So that's all. Thank you.
Today, I will discuss about highly competent. A competent teacher sees every opportunity to encourage learning and believing that all students can learn. Having these necessary skills or ability, a teacher must be able to do something impressive and well enough to assist all the students properly because they have the combination of ability to perform a specific role and cognitive skills. Being competent is important. As a teacher, it helps to foster and develop more competitive students, inspire others through positivity, vision, confidence, and challenges. And also, it creates accountability where all the students are responsible to do a task.
In the continuation of our lesson qualities of social science teacher, we are going to tackle another qualities that we need to recognize as future educators. Hi, I am your Sugay classmate, Robert Jan Marasigan, and now we are going to talk about the qualities of a social science teacher, which is the widely traveled. Widely traveled refers to the people who have visited a lot of places. That which true, those they are well experienced, polished, seasoned, and sophisticated. Well, it's the same of common answers as being future educator or teacher. We are also need to be well experienced, polished, seasoned, and also sophisticated. Now, question is, why should a teacher needed to be widely traveled? A study concludes that a teacher who is globally oriented, the better to communicate within the class. As we experience different approach of a teacher, we are able to know what should be the effective process of teaching. And being widely traveled, it contains experiences on how or what would be the effective process of teaching. The teacher should understand the student and show good communication to the class. Give some time for a small talk to your student. It is for them to make comfortable in your class and also to make them easy to understand and learn. And how do teachers apply widely traveled on their class? They need also to praise their student while they answer the questions orally. Like for example is saying great job or saying wow, great. Another ideas of being widely traveled is the more the teacher is widely traveled, the more the student will show motive to listen and learn in a certain subject or a topic. That's all the information of a quality of a teacher for being a widely traveled. I am your Sugoi classmate. Ciao, minasan.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, for our topic for the day is good mental health. I'm Maria Sheila A. Facto to discuss good mental health. Good mental health. Teacher mental health issues are important because they are not only have a detrimental influence on teacher themselves but often directly impact classroom result. Good mental health for a good teacher is to improve or more good impact to their students, because some of the health of the teacher admit to impact the attitudes or the discussion during their class. Next, I give some example. Example of paper having a good mental health. If ever there is necessary instant, do not blame yourself if you are involved. Instead, make it an inspiration to achieve a great outcome for next activity. If you have a goal, please finalize it in order to get a direction, the efforts that may you do in fulfilling of it. You must feel good about yourself and remove the negative vibe that surround to yourself. In order to get good mental health, please believe into yourself that you will accomplish an activity by your ability in order to motivate yourself to engage in a specific activity, and by the way, your self-esteem will be boosted at the same time.
Good day, everyone. So before we proceed to our topic, first, what is ICT? I know all of you are familiar with the word ICT, or Information and Communication Technology. ICT is the use of technology for communication and to the process information. Today, we will tackle about having good ICT skills. If you have a good skills in ICT, you can know everything and achieve for special prominence in technology. Teachers should understand advantages of digital literacy. So the teachers need to be able to understand and use technology so that they can allow us to find, use, and create info online in a productive, useful way. Training of ICT needs to be recognized. Yes, of course, we need to be recognized for this reason. There are many strategies to try and promote the use ICT. It should also help teachers and the learners to communicate and collaborate without boundaries. Teachers require comprehensive, ongoing exposure to ICT to be able for them to evaluate and select the most appropriate
The
resources.
topic for today is all about a person who knows the use of ICT in teaching the social science in the classroom. First of all, what is ICT? ICT stands for Information Communication Technology. It simply says that if the teacher are knowledgeable by using ICT inside the classroom, it will help them to interact with the students easily. And it will help to increase learner motivation and engagement within the discussion. Because we all know that we are in the modernization of education. The students are visual learners. ICT helps the discussions more active collaboration with the students. Aside from that, ICT helps every teacher to be more easily for them to deliver the instructional idea. And ICT help primary sources to become more alive to every student. And aside from that, ICT help every teacher to be more easy for them to calculate grades, calculate averages, record grades, and of course to access the data
of the performances of the students. That's why it is important if a person is known how to use ICT because we are in the modernization of
Hello
education.
everyone, it is a simple explanation about sense of humor. Sense of humor, a decline in tension and as anxiety when working with thought materials leads to the development of healthy social and emotional learning environment. Ibig sabihin lang po hindi mo naman po kailangan seryosohin o maging seryoso sa lahat ng bagay-bagay. Pwede mo naman po itong tawanan o hayaan lang, pero kailangan pa rin malutas. Kailangan natin mga future teachers na magkaroon ng sense of humor sa tuwing tayo magtuturo upang hindi mabagot o antukin ng ating mga estudyante. Dahil alam naman natin, ang subject na history ay isa sa mga nakakanto o nakakabagot ituro o pakinggan. Lalo na sa mga kabataan na walang pake o hindi interesado sa ating kasaysayan.
Good day, everyone. My name is Denise Anastasia, and I will discuss about tactfulness. Tactfulness is communicating tactfully. It strengthens your reputations and builds you credibility. It helps you to sustain current connections and create new ones. In the first sentence, it shows that tactfulness is having or showing the ability to do or say things without offending other people or considering their feeling or other reactions. A tactful approach displays character, maturity, professionalism, integrity. A tactful person is have a knack for saying the right thing at the right time. To say that we are having a nice character, maturity, and professional with integrity. And also appropriate, insensitive, or never rude or careless for having good manners and are also illustrated through tactfulness. In short, tactfulness is intelligence of the heart, and it's not about not speaking your truths or not being yourself. Delivery and timing is absolutely everything. Thank you.
Communicative person is one who can communicate easily. Good communication skills are essential to allow others and yourself to understand information more accurately and quickly. Being communicative person is one of the qualities we must value in other people. Great communicators frequently ask questions to give people an opportunity to share their knowledge and express their opinion. Communicative person, they know how to balance speaking and listening effectively.
Okay, so good day to all of you. So I hope all of us are already located in a good condition despite of having a COVID-19 pandemic in our society. So for this time, we will going to tackle about the responsibilities of a high school social studies teacher. So from its title, so I would like to ask you, so what are your insights with regards to the responsibilities of a high school social studies teacher? So I will give you some time. Okay, so I hope or I'm aiming that your answers will associate with regards to my question. So let me state the answer of the responsibilities of a high school social studies teacher. The answer is the job of a high school social studies teacher is to instruct students between grade 7 to grade 12. So basically, as a social studies high school social studies teacher is to instruct students. So as we all know, the primary duty of a teacher is to teach. So what kind or how does a teacher instruct to his or her students? So the way on how to instruct students, it not just a easy task because before to instruct a teacher to his or her students, he or she must to acquire some information or relevant facts that relevant to the subject matter of a students according to their grade level. So after a teacher acquire the information that relevant to a topic of a student, so he or she will record it in order to master. So that should to happen because if not, the teacher will not deliver in a smooth way the lessons of every students. So before the teacher teach to her, teach to their students, they must to master it in order to deliver it in a nice way. Next, after a teacher master the subject matter of a student, they must to deliver it in order to learn their students. So from those process, that is a proper way on how to instruct a teacher to their students in order for the student to learn and to get a deserved score when the assessment period was come. And when happened that, the student will get a high score and then he or she will maintain a good academic performance to their studying. So from those statements, the instructing is a primary duty of a teacher, but that is a not easy task. Next, a high school social studies teacher is focused on the academic topics such as the following. First, history, next, government, third, economics, fourth, geography, fifth, current events. So those words the right tackle is the disciplines under of social studies. So let's first tackle about the history. So why a high school social studies teacher should to focus in one component or discipline of social studies, which is history? Because history, it contains any facts that belong to our past. So what are those example? So the example of it is the fact that we have a freedom as of now, and freedom that we achieve that already handle as of now is came from our past because for example, Philippines is already colonized or exploited by the Spaniards. First the Spaniards, and then after the Spaniards, we have the Americans. So what are the information with regards to that? Because the Americans help us in order to become free against the Spaniards. But after that, the Americans have a bad intention towards to us because they also want to exploit our country. And because of that, many people are already killed, include include the national heroes such as Gregorio del Pilar, the young general of our Philippines under of Aguinaldo administration. So he lead the military group of our Philippines in order to defend our right for our country. But when the war period was already happened, he killed by the Americans. So that is a fact that it serves as an example with regards to history. That's why high school social studies teacher is should to study with regards to history because the minds of a students is craving for a knowledge with regards to our past in order to avoid ignorance, which is should to avoid, and to serves as an example or a weapon in order to defend themselves if ever they ask by their teacher with regards to the past or the facts that already belong to our history. Next, we have government. So in social studies, we should to tackle government. So why student learn about government? Because in this discipline, a student will learn anything that associate to government, such as the branches of our government. So what are those branches? The legislative, judiciary, and executive. So from those three, for example, we have a own distinct characteristic. So when we say legislative, it is the place wherein the law was created. But before the law will become a law, it first referred as a bill because it is not signed by the executive, which is the president. And after a bill was already created by the legislative, it will it will pass on judiciary, and on that branch of government, the bill that already created by legislative, it will interpret or study by the judiciary if if it constitutional or not. And after that, when it passed and approved by the judiciary, it will came also to the executive, which is the last and final period of a passing of a law. And when the president signed a bill, it will become a law in which it will implemented to a whole nation, which is should to avoid, which should to obey by its netizen in order to achieve peace and order or to address the needs of everyone. So from those words that I said, that is one example why government is should to tackle and focus by the teacher when a student studying Araling Panlipunan. Next, we have economics. So from this discipline, it is also should to focus by the teacher. Why? Because in our country, there is an economics. And when there is economics, there is a manage of all resources that can address to the needs and wants of a citizens, because if not a student will not learn with regards to these disciplines, they will not know about the system of economics in our country. So what else? The example of a component that associate to economics is the difference between the supply and demand. What else? The changes of price that that results from any determinants of came from the determinants or the factors that can affect why a certain commodity or product was changed. So from those, that is essential things or examples why a student is should to learn about economics under of social studies. Next, we have geography. In these disciplines, a student will learn about the physical features of our world, such as land and water. And also, under of that, they will learn by the student of the variety of features or names under of group of land and water. They will differentiate it, the land and water, and they will know by the student the benefits of it with regards to the lives of a human being. Next, we have current events. So from its word under of social studies, we have current events. So why a student need to learn about current events? So it should to learn by the students in order to notify or to become updated with regards to the facts or issues that already happened in our society that can affect to our lives, economy, or to any aspect of our country. And when a student learn about that, they will prefer if it's dangerous to our lives or it can affect the life of a human person. So from those disciplines, it is should to learn by the student, but it is should to master first by the high school social studies teacher in order for student to learn efficient and effective. Next, after that, we have Duties of high school social studies teacher. The duties of high school social studies teacher are to prepare lecture material, assign homework, and design or follow a curriculum to teach students all the required material. They may also assist students that are having difficulty by class by giving them additional assignments. So the duties of a high school social studies teacher with regards to this text is to prepare lecture material. So preparing lecture material is associated in instructing because it will prepare by the teacher all of his lessons. So what are those process? Acquiring information, recording and mastering, and lastly delivering to a students. So those are the preparation in lecture material. Next, we have assign homework. So as a extension of a lesson to the student, the teacher should to give assignments or homework to their students as a way for them to assess their students if they learn or not. So that is simply, but it will assess by the teacher the level of capability or uh, the intelligence of a students with regards to a subject matter. That's why, in order to assess, the teacher should to give an assignment as a way for the student to challenge themselves and to use their thinking skills with regards or corresponds to the lesson of a student. Next, design or to follow a curriculum to teach students. So when we say curriculum, it corresponds to the grade level of a students. And when a teacher notified the curriculum to the curriculum of the students with regards to their grade level, they will design lessons in order a student to learn and to become interesting about the subject matter. So from those, that is the duties of high school social studies teacher. And lastly, a teacher should to focus on a student who left behind b- unlike to the other students. So as we all know, not all the students have the same learning styles. So there's a student who came along to the flow of a lesson, but there are some students who can't. So as a teacher, they will not they should not instruct merely, but because they should to focus on a student who left behind by the other students. So when a teacher feel that a student can't learn, unlike to the other students, they should to focus on it and give an extra attention in order to learn and understand totally by the students the lesson that they have as a way for the student to learn and to become and to avoid ignorance with regards to the lesson that they have and already discussed by the teacher. So that's all the responsibilities or the duties of a high school social studies teacher. So I hope you learned something from me. So that's all. Thank you and keep safe. God bless always.